Everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving deep into the absolutely incredible world of biology. Seriously, from a single cell all the way up to the massive ecosystems that cover our planet, biology is the science that ties it all together. Okay, let's get into it.
So, just to kick things off, I want you to look at this number, 8.7 million. That is the best guess for the number of species on Earth. To put that in perspective, if you spent just 1 minute learning about each one, it would take you over 16 years, nonstop. That staggering diversity is exactly what makes biology so amazing.
Right? With so much to study, there is no way one person could be an expert on everything. And that's exactly why scientists break biology down into different branches. You can think of each branch as a special lens, one that lets us focus on a specific piece of the puzzle of life.
So, here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with the absolute basics. Then we'll check out the different levels of life, from the huge scale of ecosystems right down to the molecules that make it all happen. It's going to be quite a ride.
All right, first things first. Let's start with the definition of the term itself. It's a word we all know, but where it comes from is actually really cool.
You know, the name itself tells you everything. Bios, that's Greek for life, and logos means study. So biology is quite literally the study of life. It's that simple and that unbelievably complex at the same time. Okay, let's start at the highest level, the big picture view. We're talking about how living things fit into their world and how they interact with each other. This is where ecology comes in. It helps us see that giant interconnected web of life. It's not just about, say, a single lion. It's about the grass it walks on, the gazelles it hunts, the water it drinks, and even the millions of bacteria living in its gut. It's about how it all works together. And when you look at the life we can actually see, scientists first started by splitting it into two massive kingdoms. You have botany, the study of plants, and zoology, the study of animals. These were really the original pillars of biology. And by the way, the science of actually classifying and naming all these living things, that's its own important branch called taxonomy.
But hold on, life isn't just what we can see, right? The invention of the microscope totally blew the doors off a whole new world. Microbiology lets us dive into this hidden universe, studying the most common life forms on the entire planet. Get this, there are actually more microbial cells in your body than human cells.
Okay, so we've looked at how organisms interact with the outside world. Now let's zoom in and see what's going on inside them. How are they built and how do all those different parts actually work? This is such a perfect way to get the difference between these two. Here's an analogy. Think of a car. Anatomy is the blueprint. It shows you the engine, the wheels, the seats, all the parts. But physiology, that's the study of how the engine actually fires up and how the brakes stop the car. One is the what, and the other is the how.
And now we zoom in even further. We're going past the organs, beyond the tissues, all the way down to find the fundamental instructions for life itself. This is where biology becomes a science of information, of code.
Everything that is alive, from a tiny amoeba to a giant blue whale, is made of cells. They are the absolute fundamental building blocks of every living thing.
So, you can think of cell biology as being a kind of mechanic for the cell. It studies all the tiny parts inside, the organelles, and figures out how they all work in harmony to keep that cell, and in turn, the whole organism, running.
This is mission control. Tucked away inside the cell is the nucleus, and that's where the master plan for the entire organism is kept safe. It's the blueprint for everything.
Genetics is the field that cracks that master plan. Your DNA is like a massive, complicated recipe book, and genetics is the study of how those recipes are written, copied, and handed down through generations, deciding everything from the color of your eyes to how tall you are.
So what does this code actually look like? Well, if we zoom past the cell, past the nucleus, and we unwind that genetic material, we find the very molecules that started it all.
And here we are. We've gone from the entire planet all the way down to the level of molecular biology. This field is all about the molecules, like DNA, that carry life's instructions. It's a close cousin to biochemistry, which studies the chemical reactions in an organism. So you could say molecular biology studies the recipe, while biochemistry studies the cooking.
You know, our understanding of all this didn't just appear overnight. Nope. It was built piece by piece over centuries of curiosity, observation, and some truly revolutionary moments that completely changed how we see the world.
And this just shows a few of those aha moments. I mean, from Theophrastus formally studying plants way back in ancient Greece, to Robert Hooke being the first person to see and name a cell, to, of course,
Charles Darwin turning everything on its head with the theory of evolution.
And that brings us to evolution. This isn't just one more branch on the tree, it's the trunk. It's the central unifying idea in all of biology. It's the thread that weaves through and connects every single field we've talked about, explaining the mind-blowing diversity of life, from the very first simple cells to those 8.7 million species we have today.
And that really is the perfect way to sum this all up. From the biggest ecosystems to the tiniest molecules, from plants to genetics, these fields aren't really separate at all. They all work together, each one giving us a different angle, to build one complete, incredible picture of life on Earth.
And that's what's so cool about biology. It never stops changing. With amazing new technologies like genetic engineering, we're not just understanding life anymore, we're learning how to rewrite it. So what new branches will pop up in the future? Well, that's a question for the next generation of scientists to answer.